Hey guys, welcome back to the shack. Thank you for being here. I know we're supposed to be making bread and having a chat, and that video's done and in the works in the edits, but this particular video has been on my mind for a little bit, and I wanted to take a second and reflect on what we were doing this time last year. Uh, I don't want to miss an opportunity to talk about what the Lord has done for us and what what I saw and what we learned. Our This channel has always sort of been about a vlog in our lifestyle since we moved here, and we're decided to live in this little cabin off grid. We wanted a video diary to show what we learned, how much we change, how much the homestead grows, and this is an opportunity to reflect on how our lifestyle benefited us in the face of a disaster. So it encourages me to sit and reflect on that and to think about it. And I hope it's an encouragement to you. So that's the purpose of today's video. It's to look back on some hard but also beautiful things, and to share what we have learned about being prepared and trying to think ahead to maybe things we could have been better prepared for. Because you just never know. We didn't expect something like this, and you just truly never know. So that's what today's video is about. I hope you enjoy it, and let's get into it.
There was a pontoon that actually came up, hit the side of this bridge, and the force of it sucked it underneath the bridge, spit it out on the other side in pieces. I kid you not. That is how strong this water is. This is continuing to rise. We've got trash cans everywhere. I mean, I hope people in these homes are safe. We've got some people up there who seem to be watching. They are on higher ground on the second level. This is not a good situation here in Roan Mountain.
You'll see clips from both my surrounding area and our neighbors next door in North Carolina. The power of this water was unbelievable to me. It really took a toll, and it sort of changed the lay of the land. It tore roads out, destroyed one of the high schools right up the road. It is absolutely unbelievable. Pulled all of the power lines and phone lines and internet lines out, so people were losing power and then losing contact with everyone. And as I'm sitting up here, I'm not working because I'd recently got laid off. The boys are home because they predicted the weather being bad enough to call school off, and I am sitting here seeing posts about this creek, this river breaching its banks, and it was just crazy. And then the sounds of the flood sirens coming through the trees from down in town up to where I live, and I could hear that, and it was just a helpless feeling of nothing I could do. Jeff went on to work, which made me very nervous, but I knew that they would leave if things got really bad, and they definitely did. We have to cross a creek to get to the main road, and when I walked down to look at it, it was not passable when it's normally just a little puddle. This is after the waters had receded, and it was passable then, but when we first looked at it, it was unbelievable. All I could do was stand there with my hand over my mouth at how fast and how high that water was coming through there. But you can see at this point, it had come down a lot. Once the rain stopped, it's like the waters receded super quick, thankfully, and then we could sort of see what all the damage was afterwards. I think it's important to mention that our church was the only place in town that did not lose power at all. We're not sure why that is, other than all glory to God. But a lot of people evacuated to the church and some people had to stay there. They couldn't go back home. So we housed several evacuees and started disaster relief efforts immediately. And I'm so thankful for all the people who came to assist with all of that. It's mind blowing. But one of the things I wanted to mention as far as how how we live is we're on solar, so our home didn't lose power either, and we have Starlink. So the fact that there was no cell towers with Starlink to be ripped out, we were able to make contact for one of the evacuees who needed to reach out to his family. We were able to get to come home and reach out to the family and let them know he was okay. And that meant a lot. We were able to do that, and any other contacts needed to be made, we could do that from here. So eventually, we did have like a mobile setup set out in the parking lot, so people could come and get on the internet and make contact with family and reach out and check on things. But in those first few days, it was difficult. But we got to come home and be in our home with power, with internet to reach out to the world. And internet is not the end all be all, but it is important. I mean, it's hard to go without it because we are so dependent on it now, and especially up here where Wi-Fi is about the only way you can make a call. One thing that was a little difficult was since our cabin is tied to my mom's well, and they are on the grid, so they lost power. That affects the water, the well pump. So they would have to hook up their big generator to have power at their house, and we would just be strategic. And when we had the power to run water, we would fill up containers, we would get showers, wash clothes, do what we had to do, and just be strategic with it. And so as long as we thought that through, and they had the generator running, we would all do what we had to do during that time while there was power to the well pump, and then we would give it a break. So other than that, I mean, we I gotta say, the way we live is not easy, but in the midst of a disaster, it made a lot of sense at that time. So I like to think back on that because things can get hard here, and I get frustrated, and it's inconvenient. But when when you see the devastation on people's faces, and the brokenness and the heartbreak because they can't be in their home, it makes you very thankful for even the parts of your life that are not easy, but at least it's there, it's available. It changes your perspective on a lot of things. The Lord provided for all of us by sending people from all over the country to help. Money came, literal truckloads and loads of supplies. The National Guard and Red Cross came. They dropped food by truck and by air. Someone also sent a mobile internet unit. You can see that in this clip here. That helped people come to the church and make contact because the cell towers were down for so long. So anyway, the National Guard was here. We had loads of supplies come in because people were without food and water and they had no access to things. We were also provided a mobile shower unit and laundry unit so people could get their showers and wash their clothes. And I know that was hard for them. I can't imagine being out in the parking lot taking your shower, but you do what you have to do. And we also had people, these are my best friends from Georgia who came all the way up here to bring a truckload of supplies. And there's countless others, y'all. So many other people that, from all over that came all the way here to tiny Roan Mountain to make sure that our needs were met. I mean, I can't thank the Lord enough. You know who you are. If you're watching this and you came, please hear my heart say thank you that you showed up for us. It was unbelievable. And just look at all the supplies, all the food, and the people here to help us pack it up and send it out. Thank you. I wish I had more pictures and videos to show you, but to be honest, once we got into the throes of disaster relief, that was the farthest from anybody's mind. We were just trying to get through the day and make sure that the countless people that came through got everything that they needed. So blessed to be able to do it, though. I honestly see even my layoff as a blessing from the Lord because that freed my day up to be able to spend at the church. And there's other churches in our area. Once they were able, they started doing disaster relief, and it just honestly, the community just came together, and it is. I look back on it, and I'm overwhelmed at the love and support where people just come together in community. That's what we're created to do. And I wanted to mention too that some of these people who came from all over brought ATVs and equipment so they could get to the places that you couldn't reach by car because the bridges were washed out, or the roads were not passable, and they would just go out there and cut trees and do welfare checks and take supplies and just anything. People coming in and saying, just give me a job. And we're like, where'd you come from? And it could be Alabama, Texas, New Jersey. I mean, it was unreal. And just um I can't thank you enough. And I mentioned a few times about how we live and it being inconvenient, and I'm going to explain that more in another video because you're probably wondering what's the big deal. You have Starlink and solar. There are Starlink is, I will say, is not the cheapest route to go, but in a case like this, I'm glad we had it because I mean, where a lot of things are cheaper, um, they also can get ripped out in a bad storm. So that's the benefit there. And as far as the solar and all that, I'll get into all the occasional frustrations. That's the word I'm looking for. The occasional frustrations that we have with that. But nevertheless, as inconvenient as some things are, when you go through what we went through a year ago, suddenly it just becomes a blessing, and you're like, okay, I have grown. I can live in inconvenience. Um, I see the resilience in it, and I can just be thankful. So, um, I thank the Lord for what He's shown me. I thank the Lord for the opportunity. It got me out on this mountain. I've been all over this mountain now, meeting people that I didn't even know lived here, because that disaster got me out of my bubble and up into the literal highways and hedges, and loving on people and meeting people and making sure that everybody was okay and praying with people. And goodness, I can't tell you how many people we went to deliver supplies to who prayed over us. You just, I hate that it takes something like the storm to bring that out, but I mean, I'm so glad I saw it. I don't love what happened. But if I wanted to have the right mindset, I'm going to look back and see the blessing that came from it. I'm not going to curse God because He allowed something like that to happen. I'm going to see the blessing and the strength and the resilience that came from it. And I pray that other people who have suffered in a disaster, or I mean, who knows what's going to happen tomorrow? If you may be facing a disaster, but lean on Him and let Him see you through, because He will be your strength. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you look forward to the next one. I promise I'll get the bread video out soon. And also I'm going to talk about living inconveniently in a fast-paced convenience culture. That's coming soon. But thank you for watching this. I pray many blessings over you. I love you.